Hello and welcome to the Finance Magnates Virtual Summit keynote interview. Apologies for a little bit of lateness there. We experienced a few technical difficulties. LMAX Group found a 50p to put in the meter and the internet's working and we're ready to go. It's my absolute pleasure and honor to introduce to you today David Mercer from the CEO of the LMAX Group. David, thank you very much for joining Finance Magnates. Thank you very much for coming here today.
Hi Ben, good to see you.
Brilliant. And so for me personally, it's been something to look forward to. I've been in the job for a year now. I've had the pleasure of reporting a lot of your success and a lot of your achievements within that year. And so it's a good opportunity for myself and others to really find out from the horse's mouth, if you pardon the pun, exactly what's been going on there and the secrets of the success. So the LMAX Group, David, comprising LMAX Exchange, LMAX Global, and LMAX Digital, has really become a major force within the FX and crypto industry. And it's been quite a journey for you personally and the LMAX Group since you took over as interim CEO in 2011. Can you talk us through that journey, interim CEO, management buyout? Because if I'm not mistaken, at the time, the company was losing around 1.5 million a month. So,
don't remind me.
Yeah. So what made you make that decision then?
Look, you know, the story is simple. So I came in just to look at a startup, and typically there was some sort of standard startup errors had been made. So I just came in for 6 months to see whether there was any value to salvage for the shareholders. And that was a 6-month gig, to be honest. And I suppose everyone thought we'd probably close it down. LMAX stood for London Multi-Asset Exchange, and there was lots of tech projects going on involving equities and things like that. So I just looked, and there was 100 people in the company, 105 people in the company, no revenues, a lot of costs. But when I opened up the hood a little bit, I discovered that actually they built some world-leading technology. They had some excellent people. They just had focus perhaps on the wrong products, focused on the wrong client base, and in some ways hadn't finished the product. So we just put a plan together, initially a 3-year plan that said, okay, let's narrow our focus. I think that's important for LMAX Group. Even today, we try and have a singular focus. You know, that's my advice, if you like, to any budding entrepreneurs out there, is to have a singular focus and to have the perseverance and persistence required to follow that single focus no matter what. So we just focused on the world's largest asset class, foreign exchange. Of course, I had to refinance the company, so shareholders put in some more money, etc. I finished the product. Sorry?
Remortgaged your place?
No, that was later, actually. This was initially I was, at that stage, still just an employed CEO with some equity options. And halfway through that 3-year plan, which was to get to break even, the shareholders themselves changed focus, and they decided they didn't really want to be in capital markets anymore. So it was then that I ran around the city trying to raise some money, given it was quite a short time frame, 6 weeks or so, and ultimately decided that we just buy it ourselves. So we did an MBO, and myself and the team helped me out, raised 3.6 million to buy the company. Back then, ended up closing the deal at the start of 2013, and then that's really where I see the LMAX Group you see today being born. Because suddenly we weren't just employees. Suddenly we had real skin in the game. I had a real team that believed. I had a team that was brave enough to believe that we could win in the FX space. We had some runway in terms of finance. I appointed some excellent financial advisors and legal advisors who are with us today. And then we got on with it, and we were totally in control, totally independent, and in fact we are today. So you know, we're 100% employee manager owned today, and you know, we just continued with our plan really, which was to get to break even within 3 years. We did that. When we did the MBO at the time, we were losing $800,000 a month. So hats off really to the team around me. And that's just shows you our belief. I mean, I'd say one thing to everyone out there: entrepreneurs are people who take risk with their own money. There's an awful lot of entrepreneurs out there who are minority shareholders and backed by private equity and venture capital. But, myself and the team, we wrote our own checks. And yet, you jokingly said it, but a lot of my team remortgaged their house and their houses, went to family members, raised the money. However, there was no external financing here. So we had to write our own checks. We had to have the courage of our convictions. We believed in the product. We believed in the product that today is LMAX Group.
And there's nothing like a motivating factor than having a vested interest in your workplace as well, or it should be. And so you said that you had a 3-year plan to break even, and it was actually in 2014 you broke even, I believe. And so moving forward to where we are today, the LMAX Group is listed I've got a list of the achievements here. I feel like Eamon Andrews in This Is Your Life, and you're one of the only few people that will get that gag. So you're listed in the Deloitte Fast 50, the Sunday Times Tech Track 100. You're the fastest growing fintech company for 3 years. And from my point of view, Finance Magnates has reported your record profits in 2019, record half profits in 2020, and a plethora of other records broken. Can you explain, say, the secret of the success of the distinct LMAX business model and what you attribute the success to?
3 things, really. Maybe 4, actually. I'll give you the 4th at the end. But there's no great secret in that. You have to have, in this industry, in capital markets today, in FX today, you have to have great technology. And I believe we have great technology. We've always had great technology before me. And we've continued to invest in it. It's my singular biggest investment is technology every year. I mean, you don't just set it and forget it. You must continue building it. We rewrite about 1/3 of our code every year. We don't have legacy technology. So we're always expanding our technology stack, always enhancing it. And number 1 on that list every year is performance and capacity, always trying to raise the bar higher. The second bit is the team around you. I'm very fortunate to have a fantastic team of FX specialists, first and foremost, and now crypto specialists. I mean, people talk about our competitors out there and the great securities exchanges that enter the FX space, but I believe they lack the 3rd bit, which is a singular focus. Our singular focus is to build world-leading exchanges, and initially in foreign exchange, and then secondarily in crypto with LMAX Digital. So those are the 3 things, really: technology, people, focus. And the 4th bit, never forget it. And if any entrepreneur doesn't mention this, then they're being a little bit disingenuous, right? The 4th bit is a bit of luck. Okay, so that luck can be with the people around you. That can be with your first client. That can be with the macro environment around you. So never dismiss that. And if you read any business book, the best leaders, I think, in the planet, or people that I would look up to and people I would follow, they always have a little bit of that in their corner.
Out of interest, who are those people that you look up to and follow?
You name it. I've read most business books. But look, there's no one individual, because most of them you find are flawed. There's flaws in some ways. You can always find a way to criticize Steve Jobs. You can always find a way to criticize Elon Musk or Richard Branson. There's always a way, but you can always criticize someone who's done an MBA or someone that hasn't done an MBA.
Yeah.
But I think, we've got to take a little bit of learnings from all of them. And likewise, I look within our own capital markets industry, and I look at people who've had success, and I look at the great banks around us. I mean, people forget that the likes of JP Morgan was actually an individual. And, one of the things he said was, do you know how often I speak to my clients? Not once a day, not once a week, not once a month, 10 times a day. Why does he do that? He does that because he knows they're not speaking to anyone else. So lots of influences, and I think some of the best leaders out there, certainly if you look at some of the greatest investors of our time, Warren Buffett, etc. They read a lot. I read a lot. They study a lot. And they're not always, their diaries aren't always full. So that's something which has taken a long time for me to learn, maybe 30 years. Sometimes you feel when you're an employee, when you're working in big organizations, that your diary's going to be packed between 8 and 6. That's just not effective. That's not efficient, right? There's a great quote with Bill Gates and Warren Buffett, and they say, busy is the new stupid. So I try and have massive gaps in my diary every day, every week, every month, because that's time when you can think, and that's time when you can come up with the next new thing.